Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here for a quick flip through of one of my junk journals here. This is the one that's taken me absolutely ages to actually finish, and I kept dragging in every time I did a mass make or a demonstration of what anything would look like on a journal page. It's finally finished. The size of the journal is about 6.5 by 9. And yeah, it's a chunky monkey, so yeah, it's about 4 inches thick at the widest part. It's my usual kind of journal, the ones that I like doing best, which is a soft cover single signature journal. So on the front cover, it was one of the ones that we did in the mass making for the junk journal covers. So it's just covered with this fabric. The fabric is a Laura Ashley fabric. It's not vintage, but it's all been coffee dyed, so it looks quite vintage. And then, sorry, I'm just going to raise the camera slightly more. It's really hard to, you know, fit these journals in, I find, when you do a flip through. And then it's been bound just with some lace, so you could, you know, discard the lace completely. And then on the spine, it's got lace going down the spine, and I've attached a dangle or a tassel. Again, we made these during the mass making session. And then on the front of the front cover, I've got one of the journal toppers, which again we've made during the mass making sessions. So all of the components that I've used on the front, you know, or the outside cover, they've all been done during mass making. So we've got 3 different mass making you know, components there, which was really awesome to have all those bits ready made. And I think probably this flower, before actually putting it on the topper, was also another mass making project. So technically we've got four mass made things. And then here I've got just some lace going down the side and some little florally trims, some little buttons that I've patinaed and things, and yeah, it looks really, really pretty. So going inside the journal, on the inside of the front cover, I've collaged up the inside of the front cover. I love how it looks. It's so pretty. And then I've just put this piece of, this is some lace that's attached to this velvet trim, which this was gifted to me by a friend of mine at work. And yeah, I've just kind of, you know, when I used to work, sorry, that was, and I've just glued it on. And then here we've got some lace and one of those jewellery pieces, which I did in a video quite recently where I altered the jewellery. Then on here, I've got a pocket / belly band. Well, it's a pocket, it's not a belly band. Sorry, I mustn't pretend it's something it's not. So we've got a pocket and it just opens out like that. So it's a, you know, journaling space here on its in its entirety. We've got some fabric ruffle going down the side, and then tucked in we've got a large tag there, layered up lots of bits on there and some stitching, and then a fabric tab at the top. And then we've got some lace. We did these in a couple of episodes where I made a bunch of belly bands and things, but obviously, like I said, I've glued this down as a pocket. So yeah, again, we did that together. And then the fabric ruffle. Going down on this side, we've got some decoupage napkin on some sheet music, some lace trim and some faux diamante, and then a journal card there tucked in like that. This here, just some coffee dyed page, and this is from my, I can't remember what kit it's from, I do apologise, but it just ties in really well with the napkin there, I thought. I'm so sorry, I just total memory blank and can't remember what kit that's from. And then going over the page, we've got some black lace trim going down the side. And then we've got here an altered paper bag. And the paper bag, I think we did that during our alphabet challenge, so quite a while ago. We've got all these different stamps, vintage postage stamps going around the edge. And I can remember making it and thinking, oh, I love how that looks. I'm going to do more of those. And of course, you know, time's just gotten away from me and I don't think I've ever done one since. But I really, really love how that looks. And then a stamped image on top. And then tucked into that paper bag, again, just a large tag there. So love how that looks. And then that paper bag has been put down like a tuck spot. So you've got rim behind, and tucked in there is another journal card. Bit of stamping and a fabric ruffle. And then you've got, you know, some plain pages there just for journaling. Again, they've been coffee dyed and we've just got some stamping details. A piece of some vintage advert. and then more room for journaling, more here, some fabric ruffle, and then a stamped piece there. And then here we've got some lace trim at the bottom, and again another sheet of this beautiful paper that's been coffee dyed, which I still can't remember the name of, so I do apologise. And then here we've got some more black lace trim, and then we've got one of those belly band pieces. Now this was from recently when I did that very cluttered masterboard, collage masterboard. So this is a piece from that. I do have this as a digi now in my shop, but this is the original, you know, so it's got all the layers and things actually glued on. But yeah, I've scanned it in and it's now a digi in my shop as well. And then we've got some lace trim there and some faux diamante. And again, that's just done like a belly band, and we've just put a journaling card in there. And on this side of the page, I've got one of those corner tucks, which again, we did these in the mass making, and it's a double corner. So we've got, sorry, really struggling to fit this in. So it's a double corner. And then on top of there, I've got one of those altered jigsaw puzzle pieces, which again, we did on a video. So many of these components have been done on video. So although the actual journal hasn't. And then here I've got this lovely journal card. I love how this looks so much. It's so pretty. That just slots it in there. And then on the other side, again, obviously this is the other side of the, you know, the corner pocket. And then I've put one of those heart embellishments, heart clusters, which again, I've done a video of those. And then another journaling card just pops in there. Now I've got to make a confession. I have not coffee dyed the back of any of these journaling cards. These are all from the Vintage Tanners kit. And yeah, I obviously have completely forgotten to actually coffee dye the back of these. So I do apologise. Obviously, whoever gets this journal, you know, you can just spray these with some coffee or just, you know, dunk them into some coffee mixture. I, touch wood, have never found that the ink smudges. You know, when I coffee dye them after, I always coffee dye my pieces after printing. And since having the instant ink, I've never found it smudges. But yeah, I do apologise. Time just obviously got away from me and I just totally forgot to actually coffee dye the backs. I then got like a lace tip-in, as Amity Bloom calls them, of some lace there with some trim. I love how that looks. It's just so pretty. More stamping and a little stamped piece down there. And then going over the page, we've just got the back of that coffee dyed paper, some sheet music, a bit of stamping up here. And then we've got some vintage doily. This again is another printable from my shop. Just love how this looks so much. This is a different kit, and oh my goodness, again, I can't remember what this is called. I'm so sorry. I've got like some other things going on at the moment, and so my memory is like a sieve at the best of times, but at the moment is exceptionally bad. So I really do apologise. And then on the back of that, it's plain coffee dyed, and yeah, you've got some fabric ruffle and then just a bit of stamping up there. Then this is one of those pieces from the Rachel at Roxy Creations from her, I think it was from her weekly challenge. And I think we did these, I was going to say in a mass make, but actually I think I did them on a Rachel's weekly challenge video. So we've got an altered envelope with the window showing. So the window's there. And then I've just put one of those little carriages up there and things, and that again is from one of my digis. And then here I've got one of my digis there, just a collage digi, and some of my numbers and some of my road names as a little tag. It just makes such a pretty tag, doesn't it? And it's also got a little vintage cigarette card portion that I've just torn out and popped on there, stitched around the edge, and it just looks super pretty, doesn't it? That goes in there, and then we've got some lace trim down the side. And then we're on the centre of the signature, which I love how this looks so much. So we've got lace trim going down the side, and this here is just some scrapbook paper which has been coffee dyed, and then I've layered up a few little bits there. This is a piece from a vintage book. It's on some soft net and some faux diamante, and then we've got a vintage stamp and some lace trim at the top, a couple of stamped images, and then here another journal card from the Vintage Tanners is in there. Then here I've got an envelope pocket. And again, you've got a Vintage Tanners journal card that slots in the side. Lots of bits going on top of the envelope. And then in the top of the envelope, it's also a pocket where I've got this giant tag. Love, love, love this tag so much. Yeah, I made this a really long time ago, and yeah, I have been hoarding this because I love it. So yeah, I finally decided to put it in a journal. And yeah, just some various bits layered up, and this is scrapbooking paper that again has been coffee dyed and obviously coordinates with the facing page. So that just goes up like that in there. Some lace trim down the bottom, and then going over the page, I love how this page looks. We've just got some lace here and one of my little handmade flowers. Then you've got a paper clip here holding this little, this little flip out, and this is actually a kind of double flip. So you've got a pull out here to the side, and then also it's folded over like that. I mean, it was originally an envelope, and obviously I'd cut the envelope down, so this was kind of what was left. But I love how that looks, and yeah, it just works really, really well and gives you obviously a lot of journaling space in there. A couple of pieces there. These are my frames, and this is from the Vintage Tanners. And then you open up, and again, this is another one of those originals from that cluttered masterboard, the Digi version, which is in my shop. Some stapled on black lace there in a ruffle down the side, and that just closes, and like I say, it holds together, or holds fixed with the paper clip there. And then a journal card again from the Vintage Tanners, and that just goes in there, stamp in. And then here just a little clustered up sort of piece at the bottom, just with one of my little typewriter digis, which I have just then oh, what's the word, you know, emboss glazed that, so it's got a glossy surface. And then you've got some fabric and some lace, the back of that digi. And then here's some doily, some lace trim down here, and one of those chipboard tiles that we've made again in a mass making session, and it's all been glossy accented, so it looks really pretty. Little label there, and some sheet music, another one of my street names there, just set off with some lace. A stamped butterfly image and some stamping. Another pocket here that we made in the mass making. So I've really gone to town with this journal using loads of our ready-made components, which, you know, if you watch my mass making, you'll know that I generally don't really decorate my mass made things until I come to use them. So they're all just blanks, and that way I can tie them into whatever journal I'm making. So, you know, I find that the best way to do them. But of course, you know, if you find it better to decorate them as you go, then that's fine too. So this is one of those double pockets, so it kind of goes over the page. So on this side, we've got the pocket here. And again, I've got a stitched cluster stuck on for decorative sort of detail, and then some lace trim. This tag, which I absolutely love, this is just my vintage florals here on the back, backed onto some coffee dyed paper, stitched around, got some numbers there, one of my printables from my lady cigarette cards. And I mean, it's really simple tag, but really, really, really pretty. And the colours are just wonderful on there. It looks very Victorian, very lovely. And then you've also got a side pocket where you've got another journal card from the Vintage Tanners. So you've got lots of black going on in here, but lots of other colours too. So it's not a predominantly black journal. I think it's, yeah, contains lots of colours. So on the other side, you've got, again, the similar sort of pocket, but this time I've made it shorter. And then I've decorated it up just with a little rosebud here and a rose up here and some lace trim and some bling. And then again, just tucked in a tag here, which just got some stapled on lace down the bottom with some bling, and a little cluster on here and some fabric as the tab. And then up here, we've just got an element and some rosebuds. All of these pieces actually are from my Perfect Pockets. I think it is set. Oh, I wouldn't like to say, I'm afraid. It might be two different sets. But yeah, hopefully they should be in my shop now. I know that at the point of filming, they're not actually in my shop yet, but hopefully they are. So, and I've got 6, you know, if they're in my shop, then I will have 6 Perfect Pocket kits by this time. So a journal card again from the Vintage Tanners, and a bit of stamping down there. Another bunch of sort of clustered up items with some lace trim and things. This is just one of my faux stamped images and some fabric ruffle. Going over the page, you've got the rest of that beautiful scrapbook paper, which I just love, and it's all been coffee dyed. Just a paperclip holding on a journal card. Again, how gorgeous is that? Just with a stitched cluster on the front and journaling space on the back. So that just goes in there. Here we've just got some lace and a little stamped image, and then some stamping down the side. More stamping, the rest of that vintage piece there. And then we've got this, which again, we made these in the recent mass make, and this was the one that I think I actually glued in during the mass making, you know, session itself. And basically what you've got is, if I can actually remember how to use this. Oh, yep. Okay, so we've paper clipped it on at the side. So we've got like a foldy out concertina type thing going on like that. And when you fold it like that, you've got all this journaling space on the back. So, you know, they're really quite handy, and, you know, you can decorate them up so they look really pretty. And yeah, I mean, that looks kind of like a pocket. It's actually a sort of fold out, which, yeah, I think it's really clever and looks, you know, really good. And obviously provides quite a bit of journaling space too, which is awesome. And then you just, oops, wrap the string around. I've got a couple of little flower fabric trims as well. And then I just put a paper clip on the edge as well, just to hold that down further into place. So like that. Okay. And then going over the page, just got some fabric ruffle here. Oops, I think I paper clipped a couple of pages together. Sorry about that. Okay, let me just redo it. Okay, we've got some stamped image here, and then we've got just a stamped image there acting as a tuck spot with the journaling card, some lace trim, fabric ruffle down here, and then here we've got, again, another pocket that we made in the mass making sessions. And this, again, this is some collage paper that's available in my shop. And these, or this image, is from my curator's collection Botanical pieces. Some lace trim down the bottom and some lace trim at the top. And then here, this is from my vintage tanners again. So that just tucks into here, which is the first pocket. And then there's also a pocket behind, which, oops, I've just made a little tag there, again, with a whole sort of cluster of items going on the front of there. So love how that looks. And then that goes in there. So going over the page, we've got the rest of that gorgeous paper and some fabric ruffle. And then again, mimicking that page that we kind of saw, you know, early on here, we've got very similar style going on here as well. So again, picking up the paper from here. So these are my digis, and this is a decoupage napkin onto some sheet music. And it's also been backed onto some paper or some, you know, thinnish card, just so it's got some rigidity. Little piece there, and some lace trim and a flower. And then just tucked in, again, this is from my original collage masterboard that I did. These, again, are now a digi in my shop, minus the number and this number tab. But, you know, the blank is now in my shop as well. And then we've got some lace ruffle there, and then these little flower, or this little flower here, and some diamante trims. They look super pretty. Yay! And then we're at the back of the journal. So on this page, we've got a belly band, which again, I made these on video when I did all those different belly bands. A whole bunch of things clustered up, or you know, decorated anyway on there. This is just aside from my curator's collection background pages from the like portraits and timepieces background pages. Again, I do apologise, I have not coffee dyed the back. So again, you know, you could just spray the back of this with some coffee or something if you wanted to. And then that just tucks in like that. And then on the inside of the back cover, again, we're just picking up the same theme as we had in the front, in that we have used this beautiful collage all over here, and then a clustered up piece here with the friends and family dictionary definition, which again, this is from my vintage tanners in the black. And then you've got here some ribbon with the lace, exactly as we had on the inside of the front cover. So, you know, it really is kind of identical. And then that's it. We're back to the beginning. Obviously, I will be putting one of my Handmade by Shabbydabbydoodah labels on the back. But yeah, aside from that, it's completely finished. So, yeah, I hope that you like it. As I say, for some reason, this has taken me weeks and weeks and weeks to do. I really don't seem to get around to actually completing any journals lately. And yeah, I feel really sad about that, to be honest. So I'm going to try and do more, but yeah, I've got a couple that sort of need finishing off. So yeah, I'm going to kind of try and get them all finished. This will be going into my Etsy shop. Now I have to say I do have a waiting list for journals, so of course I will be going down the list in order of, you know, people's order on the list, and if it's sold, it will be marked as sold. You know, if somebody from the list has already purchased it, it will be marked as sold. If nobody on the list wants it, you know, sometimes you don't even hear back from people on the waiting list. You know, give them a few days and we still, you know, don't hear back. Then of course it will be marked for sale, and it will be for sale in my Etsy shop. So yeah, anyway, I hope that you like it, and yeah, I hope you all have a great day, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks then. Bye.